All right, Luke. So elections coming up.
Yep.
Big deal.
Yep.
Big, huge thing.
Huge deal.
Between this and the Ashes,
Huge.
Sydney Morning Herald.
Sorry, the men's Ashes team or the women's Ashes team? I just want to clarify because there is a women's Ashes. I'm just saying.
Is there?
Yeah.
Are they winning?
No, I don't know.
If they were winning, you'd probably would have heard of
We
them.
would have. Well, they made a big deal that there was a women's Ashes team, or women's Ashes
That's all
team,
we-
and then that was it. And then they're like,
Well,
well,
they
that's
don't
sports
really want
coverage
to talk about the Ashes now. Because they're not.
because they got fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because I've got to be honest. If it's a sport or a thing, the excitement is that you might not win it. Isn't
Yeah.
that you don't want to watch a NRL game or a football game, brackets soccer, depending on where you're from, whatever, and the score's 10-0 in soccer or 100-0 in
Yeah.
NRL football.
Yeah.
You don't. I just don't think that's an interesting thing because if that's what you want to see, here's the Manly Seagulls versus the under-9s girls
Yeah.
local.
Yeah, and you got to go at it, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. Cricket has been boring as batshit for 16 years or whatever.
Yep.
Because Australia's been
Winning.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Up and
for the
down.
most part.
Yeah.
Like,
When they're not all injured or arrested or fucking.
now
Yeah.
it's more just everything's kind of balanced out.
Mm.
South Africa's come up, England's come up. It's all a bit,
Bit even.
a bit
It's
more,
more of a
and Australia's
contest.
dropped.
Yeah.
So it's more interesting.
Yeah, I reckon.
So you're right.
I reckon. I'm always right. The thing is that now that there's more competition, the media says disappointing results in the Ashes.
Yes.
And it's like, why is it disappointing?
Yeah.
Isn't it disappointing if we just went over there and molested everybody
Yeah.
and it was a shit 5 days? Because it's
Yeah.
not a...
Yeah.
Well, this game goes for 20 minutes. It's
Yeah.
like, Australia declares it 708.
Yeah.
England, all out
Yeah.
for 20. It's
Yeah.
like, that's a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
And that'll take 5 days.
Yeah.
But who wants to watch
Well,
that?
the thing that, there's, the whole news coverage, I haven't seen anything about the games or who's the best player or whatever.
No.
It's just been about fucking
Personalities.
issues,
Yeah.
umpires,
Oh, yeah.
fucking this, that. It's like,
Uproar, and
Yeah.
there's been
controversy. Yeah, that's the word.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least
Controversial loss. Well, it wasn't controversial.
they lost.
They lost, yeah.
England played better.
Yeah, full
well
stop.
done, England.
Yeah.
The end. Where's the fucking tack onto that? Oh, Australia disappointing. Clark distracted by banging his wife,
Yeah.
and Watson's injured fucking nose hole. And that guy whose name I knew until I started talking, who got sent to South Africa and he got in a fight down there. Watson.
Yeah.
Um,
It all just goes...
just dumb. Just
Yeah.
dumb. At least they're not focusing on the girlfriends and wives anymore.
Yeah.
That was a real thing for a while, where it was all about he's dating this chick and he's dating this chick and she's this and she wants to be a dancer and no, she doesn't. She wants to have a magazine column. And who gives a fuck? Win some cricket. You know what I mean? We'll talk about the cricket regardless,
Yeah.
but if that
I'll
would be
scroll up to the fucking life entertainment section if I want to read about...
Yeah. And then, I'm popular and famous because my husband's a good sportsman sometimes.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking cut it for me, man. I don't want to see Dancing with the Stars and you go, who the fuck is that woman? Oh, she's dating some guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get, it's her fault that the form's down, and it's like, well, just why?
It's your fault.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Just don't talk about
They
it.
can't
Just-
walk down the street without a fucking camera in their face.
Yeah, I'm glad that Lara Bingle's out of the cricket team because that was really fucking annoying. It was like Aussie cricket captain Michael Clark's girlfriend Lara Bingle. It's like, fuck, I only learned her name was Lara Bingle like 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't matter anymore because who the fuck is she now?
No, she's like nobody.
Yeah.
She never was anybody.
Yeah,
Weird.
yeah. Is she from Cronulla?
Yeah,
She's
that's
from
kind
down
of
the
a thing in itself, isn't it?
Because the two guys that
Well, they lived down there, didn't they?
yeah, but she's from the Shire. I think she went to school with the drummer in that last band I was in, which is like neither here nor I don't even give a fuck. But it's just like
Wasn't she the Where the Bloody Hell Are You?
Yeah. Ad campaign.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
And who cares about that?
Yeah.
But the Chico Roll lady,
Who everyone knows.
who everyone fucking knows,
Yeah.
5 Cougars, please.
Yeah.
That chick deported, kicked her out. Why? She didn't date anyone famous. Fucking bring her back. What the hell? Anyways, cricket. Look, I don't really care.
So yeah, these are difficult trying times for Australia.
Oh, Australia's under the pump, mate.
You know, so
globally speaking.
Now we've got the election. So we've got the fucking cricket's the fucking schmozzle.
Problems.
Fuck. Now we've got Kevin Gillard back in charge over here.
Yeah.
That whole
thing. Yeah.
And that fucking...
That other guy. That cartoon character of a human.
Like, the fact that... Like, I don't even... Like, from my understanding, because the votes don't even matter, it's like he can't even lose now. Like...
Yeah, look, it's weird.
It's very fucking disheartening to hear.
Well, look, I'll give you my uneducated opinion. I watch a lot of news and I read a lot of things about the politicians and the election stuff. I'm quite involved and I've done fuck all research for today.
Right.
So there's a good chance I'm going to say something wrong, and that's fine. It's just my gut feeling.
That's kind of what this is about.
Yeah,
it's not about
doing your homework.
Fucking lawyer speak and, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting because I was just in Canberra and we drove down Rudd Street. And I thought to myself, and I won't make a joke out of it, but I'll tell you the joke I thought. We're driving down Rudd Street. We got lost because halfway through it turned into Gillard Avenue. And then later on it went back into Rudd Street. And it kept intersecting with Hockey Lane and Abbott Boulevard. So if that's too heavy politic humour, I don't know. But I just made me, that's quite witty, fuck whatever. But, you know... It's interesting. It's an interesting situation because now we've got an American sort of system where there's two people to choose from, whereas we used to have more or more options, whatever.
Yeah.
But because of the way they've done all of their preferences and stuff, if you don't vote Labor or Liberal, your vote will go to Labor or Liberal.
Yeah,
there's not really much you can do to avoid it. Apparently, I don't know. I mean, you can not vote, which you won't be.
Well, I don't vote. That's not. That's
you
not,
can't.
I can't vote.
Can't vote. Don't vote sounds illegal.
Yeah. That's like a fine. Yeah.
I asked the question the other day.
Yeah, it was well put the other day.
I thought it was a good question. It didn't get played on the television. No. Was it the one about the cunts? No, it was the other one. It was the other one. It would, if voting wasn't compulsory in Australia, would the result be different? Because there's so many people who are unaffected.
Slackers, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Sort of, who wouldn't go on the day.
Who wouldn't go, who don't give a fuck. Yeah. Who have no informed opinion or no... They're not up to the latest on who's doing what the policy issues.
Which is half the whole problem with the whole election anyway.
Absolutely.
No one really knows what the fuck's going on.
Absolutely. We've talked about it before. The issues that they're talking about are irrelevant to you and me everyday life. There are things that I want to see fixed. No one's talking about that.
Yeah.
We're dealing with these massive issues that are not slogans and posters. It's actually fucking effort, guys.
Yeah.
It should just be done, and we'll deal with the other stuff later. But yeah, look, it's interesting now that we've got these two different people, and I don't think either of them are doing particularly well. The only reason I think Rudd is so popular, and he's not the most popular, but the only reason his numbers are what they are is because Abbott's just fucking puzzling. Like, he's a puzzling human. He doesn't make any sense to me. And you speak to a Liberal voter, because we've met a few in the last little while, people who want to talk politics and have differences of opinion, which is fine. Yeah. But I don't understand. They may as well be talking another language, or they may as well be giving it to me through interpretive dance, because I just don't get, how do you think he is the guy? On a world stage...
Yeah, him representing.
I shudder. I mean, Gillard had a little bit of that, but for me it was just her Adelaide... twang, her accent and the way she sort of spoke was just that little bit, on a world stage it's kind of...
She wasn't very... Well, she was a bit robotic. Like, she wasn't really a woman...
Very school teacher. Yeah. She got that criticism a lot, but it was very accurate.
But saying that, at least it didn't seem embarrassing having her... You know, she could hold her own.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like...
Absolutely. Abbott's not a hold-your-own guy.
No,
every time he goes off script, it gets really, really silly.
And that's what you need to be able to do. And see, Rudd can do that. Like, I saw him this morning on the TV, and I've thrown him some different questions. Yeah. And he was, he was throwing it back at them a little bit. He was turning it, twisting it, making, not saying anything too silly.
Yeah, he can speak Mandarin in our region's a big deal. His daughter's married an Asian person, which is good. Apparently, we're tied. I don't know if there's a life debt. I don't know how it works anymore, but he's got a bit more going on.
Yeah.
Abbott's always out exercising and stuff, which is also good.
Yeah.
But it only really benefits him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not exactly a role model for kids. Oh, I'm going to go and exercise like Tony Abbott. It's not really the thing.
It's not what you do, right?
Yeah. No, I want to be as little like him as I can. It's like that South Park. I always bring back South Park. Yeah. Well, it's like that South Park where the guys can't turn up and go, don't smoke, smoking's bad. And they do this song and dance routine, and all the kids go, fuck, that was the gayest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. We're all going to start smoking because we don't end up like those people. And it's sort of like that. It's like that episode, season 7 or 8, it's funny. But,
no,
it's interesting because I don't really want either of them to get in.
Yeah.
Because they're not either of them really going to do the job.
Yeah, for me, because nothing changes in my life, really. That's the sad part of this whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But I don't want Abbott happy taking the Australian leadership. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I bitch and moan about this country.
Yeah. Go back to where you fucking came from.
Yeah. You know, pay my taxes. Do my bit. You know,
it's more than me, mate.
So I just listening to Abbott, and if he's the best Australia can do, it saddens me. It's like, come on.
Well, even if he loses, and it's not a loss because it'll be a 2-point margin or something. So even if he's slightly edged out by Rudd, Abbott's the second best we got.
Yeah, and it's still
bullshit. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. There's a lot of talk for other people from the Libs to come out and lead. Turnbull, Hockey. There's other people around who could possibly do it. Warren Truss from the Nationals, part of the coalition. He might end up with a Guernsey for a year or something. They're not sure what's going to... And that's the worry. But you haven't seen Warren Truss on the election campaign.
No.
And I don't understand. He's the leader of the National Party, and he's part of the coalition.
Yeah.
So he should be out there talking as well. But they've kept him very hidden. The last time I saw his name mentioned was he'd done some deals with Labor in WA. So his preferences, he's made a deal with Labor against his coalition co-partners. And you just think, well, how the fuck is that even sensible?
It doesn't all, it doesn't all work, and I think state governments have a lot to do with all this because they actually do your day-to-day life.
Absolutely, you know? And that's far more interesting. Who's the premier?
It seems really to be more important.
Yeah, it impacts us. It impacts Queensland a hell of a lot when they chose Campbell Newman over Anna Bligh. Yeah. Anna Bligh had a period where Queensland got absolutely devastated by natural disasters, one after the other. Yeah. And Queensland was tapped out of cash, and she had to take some steps that people weren't fond of. Yeah. So they massively voted her out, hugely, like landslide to Campbell Newman. He gets in, like 25,000 public service jobs gone. And now they're going, oh, we've lost a whole bunch of... Now the queues are longer, and the fucking hospital's not as well staffed, and my daughter doesn't have a job. It's like, well, sorry, but...
You voted this guy in.
I thought Anna Bligh was doing a really good job.
None of that happens. Not directly when you change prime ministers. I don't know, like nothing seems to affect you because they're talking about stuff like boats and internet. You know, and they're like, well, hang on. I know taxpayers' money and it sort of goes there somewhere. But that's not a day-to-day issue.
No, I want my trains to run on time and not be jam-packed, please. I got on a train this morning, Sunday, 10 o'clock, and I went 10 stops or 9 stops or whatever it was, and it was jam-packed the whole time. And I thought, why on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, it should be a bit quiet. I'd hate to be there 9 o'clock Monday morning. You know what I mean? Like, it's only going to get worse. And you just think, well, what the fuck? Why is that? Why is that the way that it is?
Yeah, but they can't fix that.
They can't. Well,
You know, whatever. I don't know how it works.
Well, all the interest is in big ticket items like paid parental leave, boats, stopping asylum seekers, and fucking broadband, national broadband.
National broadband. And the fact that they're talking about that, and this is what scares me about the Abbott thing, is that they're talking about, like, we're 20 fucking years behind. We'll throw it out there as far as things like internet goes. I don't want to hear this. This is a major topic. How is this a major?
Should be done.
Done and dusted.
Well, sorry guys, we're behind. We're going to work it up. We both live quite close to the city of Sydney, which is the biggest one Australia has. My internet is fucking useless.
So It doesn't make any sense.
Is yours any better than mine?
It's okay, but it's not. I can't walk out into the street and get Wi-Fi for free like you can in other countries.
In every other country. You can't jump on a bus and check your work email.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why we're 20 years behind.
Well, it's interesting with the National Broadband Network. A friend of mine works with computers. He's some sort of designer or something, and he's in the department and on a contract, and they just kicked all the contractors out because they want the government department to be running at a lesser cost going into the election. And they said they'll rehire him after the election if they win again. So okay. So you're fucking around with the broadband network anyway. There's issues about which is which. Surely there's facts. Surely there's hard facts that say the coalition policy on this is shit, the Labor policy on this is good, or the other way around.
Well, it is. No, there is facts. Like
but it's not.
But the problem is that this is what I see, the Tony Abbott thing that they proposed is a joke.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But
do you want to say what it is in case people aren't aware?
It's just the technology is just low.
Yeah, they're using the same cables as telephone for home lines.
It's basically, without going into technical details, it's a less thing, right? You can look it up. But people don't see it that way. And as the government, it's your responsibility to say this is a shitter proposal. Not this is just as good. But it's cheaper. Because when you say it's just as good but cheaper,
people go, well, fuck, why aren't we going to cheaper?
Right? And it's not just as good. It's a shit half-assed solution. That's why it's half the cost.
It's a bolted on problem. It's a band-aid over a massive problem. It's not going to solve anything.
Right. It's actually a waste of money.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're only going to have to redo it again.
Right.
As soon as Labor get back in, they'll have to go fuck. Because in 3 years' time, people will go, holy shit, the coalition haven't done anything they said. Nothing's worked. The government's spending more money for no fucking benefit. Now we need Labor back in. And it's like, I don't want to waste 3 years putting us in that situation where we're all dealing with that.
That's what kind of scares me about it. Because I work in that sort of industry, and that scares me that, we're really behind. The fucking internet's like the internet is everything now. Jobs, everything. Internet.
It's in your pocket every day.
So sort it out. It's not optional extra. Like it's not.
It shouldn't be a policy that we're all discussing or the media's discussing.
It's not air conditioning in the fucking snow. This isn't.
It needs to be done, and it needed to be done already. But it needs to be done now.
It should not be one of the key discussion points in the fucking election. Like, that's why I watch this stuff and I phase out because I was like, what are you talking about?
It almost needs bipartisan support. You almost need both parties to go, okay, we need to come to an agreement because this needs to be sorted out. But they're so apart on it. They just want to fight about it. And try and pitch it to the Australian people. The thing that annoys me is that the media in this country isn't doing what they're supposed to do. They're not reporting as one better than the other. They're just saying they're different. And even the ABC, which is meant to be impartial and meant to give you information, they don't have to tell me where to vote. They don't have to tell me who's who and whatever. I just want to know which is the better option. You have to go looking for that information. So what are the media doing? Oh, this guy said this word wrong. This guy's talking about this. He went to a brothel. Personalities. Personalities that don't really...
it doesn't really matter. It's quite... media's a bit of a joke. I sort of ranted about this today. Like... You read a news story, and half the news story now is embedded tweets from just whoever. And it's like, hang on,
what are you doing?
You're just telling people's opinions, embedding tweets. I can go to fucking Twitter and hit the hashtag. I don't need a journalist who's supposed to be reporting, who's supposed to be researching and getting through all the crap,
all the bullshit, and just getting to the bare bones.
So you're right. These policies, no one really knows X or Y about it. It's all just Rudd's got glasses, Abbott's got fucking budgie smugglers.
Yeah. And that's it.
You know, hang on.
What do you do in a 4-year journalism degree these days? If you sign up to go to uni and do journalism, well, this is Twitter and this is Facebook. That's an email. You probably already know that. Okay, class dismissed. Because if all you're going to do is cut and paste other people's opinions, that's not fucking journalism, man. That's a blog.
Yeah. No, that's this.
That's what we do. Yeah. No, it's really annoying, and you're right. And then you get 100 comments after, you're wrong, and then no, you're wrong, and then no, you're wrong. So you've got two sides who disagree, but there's not actually a clear thing. We want to engage people. We want people to be engaged with this news story. Tweet us, email us, hashtag us, fucking Facebook us, and tell us you fucking bullshit, half-assed, uninformed reckon of an opinion, instead of actually doing some homework because we've given you some information.
And it's spot on, because I was just saying, that's exactly my whole point was the one difference between us having a conversation and our friends and going on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
The difference between that and what you go to the news for should be chalk and cheese, right?
Oh,
it's like, it's like, okay, I'm going to read the news article, and then I'll bring that to my conversation. What the journalism sort of world and the media is doing now is saying, feed us your bullshit conversations, we'll put them on our website. Now, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because we don't need them to regurgitate Twitter and other social media to us.
Absolutely.
We can just go to the source. Fuck, my phone keeps me up to date. Right? So when I go to a newspaper and that's all I see, well, fuck it. I'm going to stop going.
Absolutely.
But if I go there and it's journalistic, fucking research, documented, really serious, explains what the fuck is actually going on. They said this is what it refers to. So this political speak, it's either just jargon. It could be legal document type talk, like just none of it makes any sense. Or it's what you're saying, the gossip column.
That's all. In politics is today's thing, tomorrow it's sport, the day after it's whatever. So I don't want the gossip. I want the actual news, please. And you watch Channel 9 or Channel 10 or Channel 7 and you get 30 seconds of what happened in the world, 30 seconds of Australia, sport and weather go for 10 minutes combined out of a 22-minute.
Why do they do the weather anymore? Who needs the fucking news to see the weather?
No, and I don't need it to be 10 minutes and cover every fucking square centimetre of the country. The problem is that ABC's now trying to do the same thing. In the morning, they've got two hosts that don't get on. They don't have any sort of chemistry.
They have to pretend.
Really hard. And they pretend, they try and make jokes, and it's so fucking hard. And they cover things for 2 or 3 minutes and they move on. Syria, chemical weapons, UN wants the US to intervene. Now we're going to go and talk about what we're cooking in the kitchen with fucking such and such politician. It's like, no, that's not what I want to do. Al Jazeera is the only news that I get anything out of anymore. And it's so hard to get a bulletin from them unless you own pay TV, I imagine. But I can't find it on regular television unless it's 3 in the morning or something. But I tell you what, they cover a fucking story for half an hour and they go, look, we're on the ground, people are getting shot, there's deaths, there's this, there's that, there's the other. This is what we know. Unconfirmed, or it's been confirmed independently, or whatever, you actually get the picture.
Everyone's Fox now. Like that. Or they're saying, that sort of, what they've been saying, they've been saying, it's like, well, hang on, who?
Make a statement. Don't try and cover your ass. This whole thing about the it's not even 24-hour news cycle. It's like 1 hour news cycle. It's bullshit. I think people still want actual news, actual journalism, and actual reporting. So whether it be television, radio, newspaper, give me what is going on.
I don't wait the next day and read a really well-documented thing. Because I'll get all the tweets during the day.
Absolutely.
Something happened here, something happened there. Oh, that's fine. I'm.
Who's going to be the one to say, okay, enough's enough. We don't need to follow the Daily Telegraph. We're going to actually do some proper... Because I think that's what's important, because there's no point being the first to cover a major international story if some of it, or most of it lately, turns out to be wrong. I would rather you got it right and I got the information.
That's happening quite a lot with all these live, because they'll all just start blaming each other as to so and so are saying this and so and so is saying that, and we believe that this has happened and unconfirmed, and it's all just fucking all over the shop. No one's actually who was there Who said it?
Yeah.
You know?
Go and find these people. Like, let's get to the actual bottom of it. There was a classic in America a little while ago where a plane had some issues on a runway and they crash landed.
Yep.
And it was an Asian airline and someone had made up fake names. Did you see all this stuff that went on? Someone made up fake names and it went to air. Now, you can find all the details. As I haven't done any research before this conversation. It's all online. I remember most of the names because they were pretty fucking funny. But it went to air as a live bulletin and then they had to issue an apology the next day when they realised there's no way We Too Low is the fucking pilot's name. There's no way Something Wong is the fucking steward guy's name. And the other one that I remember was Bang Ding Ao. There's no way a guy who's just come out of a crash landing's name is Bang Ding Ao. Like, come on, guys, don't be fucking morons.
Like juvenile humour.
Pranks.
Yeah.
Like when, there was some things a little while ago where an Australian show went to the airport and said, we're trying to find these people. Terry Wrist, Al Qaeda. Yeah, and it's like, you know what? I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny.
Yeah.
And the people who are just going about their day doing their job don't want you coming in making them look like a bag of dicks. Because if I went around to the guy's house who was pulling these jokes and made him look like a bag of dicks, he'd get the shits.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be happy with it. It's like, so why the fuck is that fair one way and not the other way? Anyway.
No.
The NBN, we've talked about the NBN. The other thing that's come out recently is this paid parental leave. Have you been following the issue with this? This is a coalition genius move.
Well, it sounds nice.
It sounds lovely. Would you like to be paid to have kids from the taxpayers?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking at? And to pay for other people's children? Because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I mean, paid parental leave's not a new thing in other countries or whatever else.
Yep.
But it does cause issues.
Yeah.
That people probably aren't thinking about.
Massively.
Yeah.
Because they actually want to give people 6 months of their salary. So if you earn 40 grand and you have triplets, you get 20 grand total. If you earn 200 grand and you have one baby and you live with your mum, so you've got a caregiver, you get 100 grand.
Yeah, and it's not as... That's what worries me about this whole thing. It's not... That's like a carrot. Vote for me...
And we'll give you some money.
Yeah. It's not... It's a bribe. I mean, it's not a fucking...
Yeah. And the problem is that there's so many people, as I was saying before, who are uneducated, don't follow this type of thing, who are going to see that and go, oh, I need a new telly. Not that they're necessarily going to have children. Because of it, they might already be planning children. But they're going to vote that way to get this money for doing fuck all. I don't understand why people want to sit there with their hand out.
You see, in other countries, the employer has to pay that leave.
Yeah.
So unless they're lobby groups and they're going to have it... You see, generally these things work... if it's taxpayer money, then it's fucking ridiculous.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But they reckon that money's going to be coming from business. They reckon there's a business levy that's going to get 50% of the money total, and the other 50%, they're not saying where it's going to come from. So it's either going to come from taxes or it's going to come from cuts.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't have to say it until the day before the election, which is a Saturday.
Yeah.
They can release it 3 a.m. on the Thursday morning or 12:01 on the Friday, and then you can say, oh, fuck. But who's going to be reading that before they change that vote?
Yeah.
It's so annoying, man. And okay, paid parental leave, great. I see Australia as an ageing population. We need to have more children to earn money and pay taxes and keep the country going. I understand that. But I don't think people should be getting paid their wage to go and have children. If you make that decision...
It's like I said, it's something that needs to be... Again, it's hard to introduce these things like this, because... Like now kind of thing. Cause, now that the issue is no one's having kids.
Yeah.
Like in European countries, that's just the thing, but the employer pays it. Just part of your maternity leave or whatever, right? You take your leave and it gets paid for because if it was a holiday pay, right?
Yeah.
Again, not knowing all the ins and outs, but it causes a few social problems where if you're looking for work and you're 26, 27 and you don't have any kids, they start going, and you're a female, they start going, we might go with Joe, the 21-year-old guy. you know.
And this is a conversation I've had many times. There's a reason why employers will pick men over women of a certain age, of a certain bracket, because they don't want to train someone up, invest time and money and effort, and then they go away and have children. Right. I don't understand why people don't seem to get that. That's so clear.
I'm not. I mean, it's not. I get it. I'm not condoning it. And this is where these things become emotional issues, and they're not at all. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, like you are. It just happens. That's it. It happens.
You could go online now and find more discussion about that than you can about the National Broadband Network or the paid parental leave issue with any depth to it.
Yeah.
Because this is an issue where 50% of the population, women, get upset about it. Or no, not all of them. I shouldn't say that. 50% have the potential to get upset about it, and some men as well. Yeah. You know, I don't think women should be paid less for doing the same job as men. Fucking no way. Yeah. But at the same time, there is that issue of women having kids, and like we will get there to a point where that's not a problem anymore. But for now, it's still a little bit of a thing. Yeah. We're only just really like in 4 decades coming out of like slavery issues and women's right to vote, like the suffragette movement in the 20s. Like it's only just really settling down now. I mean, we can't go and leave some bounds. Yeah. Having said that, I think there needs to be a bit more understanding as to why those situations. I mean, the women earning less money than men, I think, is a symptom of the problem of employing a woman and training her to XYZ to then potentially go on maternity.
There's patterns and there's things that
inform that end result.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's kind of just happened. It's evolved that way, almost, you know. And again, not fucking condoning it.
It's not a fault issue. It's just the way that it's come about. Yeah. If it was men who had kids, I would argue that men would be the ones who are getting paid less than women, because men are potentially, and it's all potential, we're not hard and fast here, potentially men are more uncertain to stay in a role if they would leave and have kids. The way that it's worked out is that it's women who have babies, so they are potentially the ones who are going to leave and have children. So then the employer's lost an investment, they need to then fill that role. I mean, let alone the training or the time or the knowledge that walks out the door. You know what I mean? So is this paid parental leave thing going to solve that? Well, I don't really see how. I don't know if it's trying to.
No,
I think it's just a way of
issue,
I think it's like you say, it's just a carrot to get votes, which is shit. Let's not. Vote for me and I'll give you $1,000. Like, I'll fucking vote for you then. Can I have my money, please? Yeah. Like, it's dumb, man. I don't understand.
It is. It's very, and it's kind of. Yeah, I just don't know where that's. You'd want a lot of
detail.
You'd
want to know. Yeah. Well, we don't know. 50%. I mean, even the coalition shadow treasurers can't pin it down. He initially said 50, then he said 100, then he said 60, then he said 70%. It's come out as 45. So there's 55% of that money, which is billions of dollars a year. I think it's 22 billion or something that they have to find from somewhere. And it's like, well, most of that apparently, that 45% is apparently going to come from taxing businesses. So then businesses are going to fuck off overseas, and then people are going to lose their jobs. Like, how? It's just a dumb.
There's a lot of. You can see some potential backlash. Not back, like just things backfiring.
Problems coming out of that. And this is the thing: is that the Labor Party, Kevin Rudd, the Greens. Even the fucking Clive Palmer party aren't making these stupid promises that aren't going to be able to be delivered upon. Yet, for some reason, Tony Abbott's the preferred Prime Minister.
Well, that's what I was saying before. When I think of Tony Abbott, I just think of this old mentality or old money or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's the internet thing. No, we're not going to waste money on that, but we're going to make sure that you get paid when you have kids from... it's all just very, silly, old-fashioned. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but
it's about 2 decades old in the sense of what we're looking for now.
You know, you're not going to waste money on that internet thing that the kids want.
Yeah.
That's a toy. So I don't know, I'm hearing that.
He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know? I do know what you're saying.
And he just looks like a twerp, man.
Anyone who hasn't watched either of the leaders' debates from this year should go and watch them, because you'll get everything you need to know. Whether he won the debate according to the public opinion or not is irrelevant, because like I said before, most of the public isn't really following this as close to this. Perhaps they should, because they're going to vote in a guy who is a fucking nutcase. When it comes to gay rights, he's anti-equal rights. He's anti-abortion.
Oh, he's
a Catholic old man.
Conservative, man. He's
very
not,
conservative.
Not Catholic, he's fucking conservative.
Very conservative.
Big time.
I didn't realise the abortion thing was an issue in this day and age. I thought there was women's rights and right to choose. And
well, that's like, what are those things? Yeah, like, why is that? What bothers me when I hear this stuff in Australia? Like, I don't give two fucks. I don't agree with that much, but I don't care. Like, my opinion on abortion or my opinion on fucking gay marriage.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be how things are solved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's a democracy, right?
Yeah, well, not just that. It's democracy. It's like my opinion is going to be skewed to whatever my situation is.
Yeah.
And that's not how these great, like, it's kind of like I'm not in a position to make, someone needs to weigh all that up.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I don't really agree with it, but I'm still going to let it happen or whatever because it's this and that and the other.
Yeah.
You know, like, not just, like, I think of America when I think of that shit. I think of this conservative, white, old, like, bullshit that even where, like, Europe's moved on from that and they're fucking where it started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate when we take, like, we're supposed to be a progressive young country.
Making our own history because we're only 200 years old.
You know, we talk the good game when it comes to that, that we're progressive, but our internet's fucked and we're talking about whether women can have abortions or not.
Well, it's weird
because of traditional religious stuff.
Yeah.
And
in a secular state.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a secular nation. Yeah. We've got a lot of people of different religious faiths here.
Yeah.
Christianity is still the dominant one, but by no means is it by 80% to something else. And he, as a leader, isn't even allowing his party a conscience vote openly. He may do it after the election because there may be enough social pressure.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't be bowing to social pressure. He should be saying, okay, this is what the people want. This is what they're going to get. Instead of a forced issue.
No, it shouldn't be social pressure either way. It should be there's no detriment or benefit for this to happen or whatever. Like, it should be looked at as, why are we not allowing gay marriage? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like pros and cons on a fucking... Like, I'm simplifying all this, but, like...
No, that's what I'm saying.
It should be removed from any traditional or any opinion, or it should just be...
This is the issue today.
Yeah.
This is what people are talking about.
Yeah.
So we're going to review it. That's what I'm saying as well.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be forced to, because otherwise he's going to lose the election. He shouldn't give into his. He shouldn't give up his beliefs and system of whatever, because otherwise he's going to lose. He should make the right decision for the country based on the country, not him.
Yes, and that's my point, because these are the guys that. It's a classic example, like. No abortions, fucking no blah blah blah, and then his daughter secretly gets one because he fucking
George Bush,
whatever. You know, it's that. It's like, how about you just go? I don't believe in abortion, but we're not going to bother with having a law against it. You guys make your own decisions. We're worried about fucking some other big
global politics issues,
fixing the fucking trains,
right?
Because that's
affects everyone daily.
We're not going to sit here and debate this. I'm against abortion, but X, Y, Z. You know.
Yeah, we've got other things to do. Yeah. That's a
gay marriage.
Someone else
you're not going to get married by a priest in the Catholic Church, but if you want to go down the registration office,
knock yourself sideways.
Yeah. You know what? Like that's why.
No, I agree.
I don't get the.
But it's the way that he goes about it that's the problem for me and other people.
On top of that,
it's his like the actual beliefs and the actual position. Sort of, it's not irrelevant. Like it matters, but that's secondary to the way he presents it as a thing. I mean, his policy announcements are ridiculous. There's no money. I don't want to say the word costings because everyone's probably already heard that in this election. But there's no money involved. There's no numbers to anything. We don't know what it's going to be. So when you're talking about National Broadband Network, the Coalition's plan, which is called something very slightly different.
Yeah.
You're talking about paid parental leave, which is, again, another policy fucking knee-jerk reaction. Yeah. The latest one this week is, are you aware of the going into Indonesian fishing villages and buying boats? Have you heard about that? That's the latest one this week. To stop the boat people coming here, what we're going to do is we're going to go there and buy the boats. So in a fishing village, it's an archipelago.
Isn't that about a bit detail living?
Well, it's fucking dumb. I mean...
Well, it's dumb, but isn't that something you hear about later? Like, what we did to fucking...
The multi-pronged approach, one of them was to this.
Yeah, we went and bought some boats.
Apparently Howard did it when he was in charge.
Yeah.
Apparently he ran this same sort of policy, and that's where they've come up with the idea. But no one ever heard about it ever.
Is that the policy?
That's the policy.
Or is that just one of the tasks?
They're going to go in there and they're going to buy boats. They're going to spend some billions of dollars.
It's just a fucking dumb... Like, maybe because I relate this to how I think about getting a job done.
Yeah.
So, okay, the problem is... boat people, the policy is there'll be a task force to sort it out, right?
Yeah.
And we give them budget X and Y, and then they've got till July, right?
Yep.
And that's the policy. You know what I mean?
And then what actually happens is
they go and spend that money and fucking solve it. And it's not a politician. It's a fucking dude who knows that shit. It's Brad Pitt in World War Z. It's a dude who actually...
They went and got some advice from brigadier generals and retired military personnel who've worked extensively with Southeast Asia, extensively with the Indonesian government, and they ignored what they had to say.
Yeah.
And this is I think this is one of the points of their 6-point plan of stopping the boats, is to buy the boats before.
Yeah.
So if you own a fishing boat in Indonesia, you can sell it now and make quite a good deal of money to prevent it being used as a vessel to come to this country, or you can keep it and fucking do your livelihood for yourself and your village and stay alive. Like, it's one of those things. It's so bizarre. Yeah. So imagine you going over to another country and saying, okay, we're in this village, we're going to give out all this money, all this currency.
Yeah.
We're not going to deal with the government of that nation, because that's not the plan.
No.
The plan isn't to speak to the Indonesian government and say, you've got large amounts of Middle Eastern people, African people coming through. We've got to stem that flow if that's your policy. If you want to stop these people getting to Australia, we've got to look at that issue, not how they fucking get here.
Yeah.
Because then what? There's 50 logs tied together with a motor on the back, and then more people die.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking stupid.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it's such a detail for me that I just go, what?
I think it's one of the 6 points, but they've announced it as a massive thing, and
it's just bizarre.
Because initially, like 2 or 3 years ago, they came out and said, we know the Papua New Guinea plan has a limit of 5,000 people. So, and after that 5,000 people, the rest will probably have to come to this country. This is a coalition. They're commenting on the Labor Party's policy. Yeah. Straight away then, you've given people smugglers and asylum seekers a number, and you want to be the 5,010th person or the 5,900th person because, well, their camps are full, now you're allowed into the country. And it's just so dumb. Like, why would you come out and do it? Like, there's no thought about these processes.
I mean, that whole boat people fucking things are just another mindfuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it just, it just gets on my nerves, because it just seems like again, like, I appreciate taxpayers' money goes to that. But I don't give a fuck, like, in the grand scheme of things. Fix the fucking trains. Like, I just don't. I do not get...
You walk to work. What are you worried about?
Well, give me a fucking easier way to get to work than walking. Walking is the easiest way.
That's the worry. Like a 40-minute walk or something instead of
the easiest way, quickest way to get to my work from my house.
Yeah.
Because the way the trains and buses...
And the buses and stuff, it's all fucked up. The boat people thing's weird because instinctively, born and bred in Australia, I feel like it's not good to have people lobbing up on the shores. But having said that, they're not making this journey because it's fucking easy. There's been some hard decisions made somewhere along the line. Massive amounts of money has been spent to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be sorted out. And I don't mean it needs to be sorted out by sending them to Papua New Guinea or buying fishing boats. I'd love to think that we could go and sort out the actual cause and not deal with the symptoms.
Yeah.
But according to UN figures, the number of internally displaced people who are not crossing borders to get out, is double the external figures. So there's massive amounts of people who need help here.
Yeah.
So even though instinctively I probably speak for a lot of Australians, it just doesn't feel right. I can't point to anything and say there's a queue jumping thing or they're not coming here and working or this us and them mentality is something that comes to me immediately, but a very, very small amount of thinking.
Yeah. And
you go, no, hang on, people need help. We should help people. That's the country we are.
And that's kind of my point, is what, like, the way if you're talking to some redneck in a bar, I kind of go, all right, you're fucking too far gone.
Yeah.
But when it's presented, like, the ads are saying things like, don't tell your cousins to come here.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, what?
Yeah.
Who's that aimed at?
Yeah.
A fucking tax-paying citizen?
Yeah.
Is that targeting at me?
Yeah.
Like,
your family's not allowed to come here. Well, yours is because they come by plane. And irrespective of what happens when they get here after they come by plane, it's fine.
Yeah, you saw it, like, that's what, it's not that it's the way it gets presented.
Yeah.
You know, as these are filthy terrorist pigs that are coming here. Like, it's presented that way. It's not presented like, okay, look, there's some people. Look, here they are.
Here's some faces and some
there's
names.
A girl and a fucking little boy and with a fucking doll. Like, and you know, they're people, full stop.
Yeah.
The boats is a fucking transport thing. They're not from boat land.
Yeah.
They're not boat people.
Yeah.
They're not fucking fishermen. They're just people. They get into a fucking boat. I'm sure there's some dickheads on board.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Because that's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. There's dickheads on a bus in Sydney.
Right.
Like, you don't need to be foreign and on a boat to be a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those around. We've just seen them billion of them on a junction. I would rather deal with other kinds of people than fucking snobby dick faces that have no concept of what's going on. And they're the people who are determining these sorts of policies.
And that's what I'm that's why I get sort of angry about it. Not the actual details of the issue, just the way it's presented.
There's an Australian government clause or rule. You're not allowed to show names and faces of these people. So that's why they're blurred out. They're not blurred out on the news to protect anybody.
God forbid you'd humanise them.
Oh, no, we don't want it to be people. No. It's just weird. It's so bizarre. And that's one thing that I disagree with the way the Labor Party's handling this. Having said that, I fuck knows what they're going to do or how you're going to prevent it. From the symptom level, if you could go to the countries where these people are coming from and change things, but we've tried, and, like, you know, America's tried. I mean, not well. I'm not saying
that's why I kind of think you can't turn your back on it. Like, you know, where I don't know half of this, but, you know, we were in Afghanistan.
Yeah, the Western world has been involved.
In Iraq. Yeah. So now there's people fleeing, might not even be the right countries I'm talking about, but now there's people fleeing said part of the world.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to deal with those repercussions?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is the end result of issues that you started.
Because at the end of World War II, European people fled fucking Europe.
Yeah. And we welcomed...
That's why I'm here.
We welcomed people because...
well, the country, the government welcomed them because the government recognised that was the thing.
Yeah.
The people didn't.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Sorry,
but you see, but that's fine. Like, that's not a problem.
Because that's changed now.
Right? But the people, you know, might be going, what's this, Asians out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the government wasn't.
They were saying, we know we need skilled workers after World War II. Yeah. There's places that need filling. This is going to be good for the country.
Fucking, right? Balls need digging and bricks need laying, right?
Yeah.
So now, why is the government presenting a message of, you know?
Yeah, these people will help our country and they need help, we will help them. It's a mutually beneficial circle. Yeah, I don't know.
Like I say, I know it's not that simple, and I know I don't know half of it, but that, you know, and people will argue that no, but the Europeans came here legally and blah blah blah. Well, maybe it was easier to.
It would have been. There was no paperwork. There were no issues of computerised checking and facial recognition. I mean, the percentages of people that are coming here who are found to be criminal illegally are very, very small. I mean, sure, you don't want that element in society regardless, but there's so many more criminals already here that needed to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, but just in this, you know, it's a post 9/11 thing. It's just easy to fear people. Oh, there's could be terrorists and stuff. Like, really, really, we have to fucking, you know.
There's one thing that I know. A town up the north coast of New South Wales that has a large population from one of these countries where people are fleeing. And there seems to be an issue there now, and it's a recognised issue. And I'm not going into details specifically so that there's no issues, but there's a crime issue, but it's it's break and enters, it's cars being beaten up. Like, it's not explosions and fucking mass murders, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's an element of but that could easily be either bringing learned behaviours across, or it could be not being accepted into the community. I mean, there's any number of reasons why. It
could be that's been focused on, and the crime rate in Campbelltown isn't, or whatever.
Absolutely.
You see that's where it all gets very...
Yeah. Well, I mean, out west is a fucking... It's bizarre that they're going out west to say, we want your vote because we're going to stop the boats. That's where they're pigeonholing Western Sydney. Western Sydney is a very ethnic area.
Yeah.
And a lot of ethnicities, as you said, come...
But they've got the numbers.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Coming to fucking East Sydney saying that, because you already got their vote.
Yeah, exactly right.
They fucking helped you, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just weird that you do that. It just seems so duplicitous to go out and say, we want to stop people like you coming here for a fair go.
Well, it bothers me that it works, to be honest, because I know this mentality, you know, like, so I've got an ethnic background.
Yeah.
But I've got experience where people in my, you know, from an ethnic background would have the same opinion on fuck these people. But hang on.
Yeah.
What the?
Well, one of the guys in the coalition government has on his bio on his webpage, as a Liberal, says, I came here over the seas when I was 12 years old 20 years ago, and now I've grown into a... And he's representing a party that's going to stop the boats.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, I don't really think... But people don't question that. That's just accepted. So the media goes, oh, this is weird. And then that's that.
Yeah.
They don't go, hang on a minute, we're going to call this guy up and we're going to fucking ask him, what are you talking about? Give us... But
that's why there's different kinds of boats, and that's what bothers me. It's all, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're all right because, you know, well, I wasn't all right 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't understand.
That's why, I don't know. Like, it's all very... There's just something not right. I just don't want Tony Abbott.
Yeah.
It's just purely... I don't want to see that guy's face.
Yeah. Or hear his voice. And,
you know? Happy that he's fucking won the election.
Get his hands up. Yeah, we fucking...
That's all it comes down to. It's purely a fucking... Don't like this guy. Not that his policies are... If his policies were fantastic and he was saying things and he had to speak, then at least he might win me over.
Yeah.
But none of that's the case.
True.
So now if the options are Kevin Rudd, like you're saying, it's just two people, well, I'd rather just have Kevin Rudd just cause.
Who's a bit of a dickhead himself.
Yeah.
But he at least sort of acknowledges that. He's not so serious as Abbott seems to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't take himself as seriously. I just want to say one more quick thing about this asylum seeker. Like, what's the term that's not... pejorative? What's a nice... Because boat people isn't it?
Yeah, fucking oath.
Queue jumpers isn't it?
No.
Like, there's no... You know what I mean?
No, there's a song or it's refugees.
I don't think that's politically accurate. I don't think that's... The people that are coming here...
That's half the problem.
This is exactly it. So those people... I should say, when I said earlier on that there's a little intrinsic part of me that goes, I don't like that. I literally, honestly do not fucking care if they're brown, white, blonde, aliens. That is not even the thing. If it was a boatload of Norwegians turning up, you know what I mean? I would still... There's just that little tiny part that goes, I don't really want But having said that, I know plenty of Irish people and English people that I've worked with in my industry that are overstaying their visas, and I don't like that either.
But you see, they're not being fucking...
No, they're not.
...sent to some fucking jail.
No, they're not. And
that's why...
Yeah.
But see, you're aware of that.
Yeah.
There are people who aren't, or are and don't see it the same way. You know?
I'm very surprised, literally, honestly surprised that it's a race issue. I wasn't aware of that till recently.
No,
I thought it was just an issue of people arriving here, and then we then have... I mean, it's bad enough when people turn up uninvited and you've got to feed them. And you're like, shit, I don't really have enough nuts and fucking celery here to make some dips and shit.
Yeah.
To have a whole bunch of people turn up that the nation then has to deal with just seems like, that's not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal from... the fact that they need to leave, to the journey, to the money, to the loss of life to get in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that to me, it honestly doesn't matter what colour, nationality, race. It just feels that little bit. And like I said, there's people that I've met who've overstayed, and you just go, what the fuck? There's people I know in marriages for the purposes of getting citizenship, and that's the same thing. You go, fuck, that just doesn't seem right.
But that's why I'm saying it's all very... You know, where it's convenient, we don't care. Where it's not a race issue, we don't care.
When it's not easy to point at a group of brown-skinned people and say, they're coming here illegally.
Right. Yeah. Because the white people in your office who are just living off the fucking office biscuits.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they want to go out drinking.
Yeah.
Like...
That's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, that bugs me as well.
Yeah,
that
so
shits me so
that's
bad.
why. That's the thing. That's why I get a little bit. Like, people don't
delineate
look at everything. Delineate and just go, okay, this isn't. We can't be upset about this if we're not going to get upset about this.
Absolutely. You've got to have some sort of consistency.
And the whole refugee asylum seekers, whatever they're called, for me, it's just some byline in a fucking law somewhere, and it just gets dealt with. Why is it front and centre?
And it's the only fucking thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, really, what's the national issue at the moment?
Yeah.
It's that. There's no...
And is it that big a like, I don't know. Like, it could be one day someone turns around and says, we're spending too much on the military.
Yeah.
I don't fucking... Nobody actually knows or cares or thinks about it in their day-to-day life. But, you know, we turn it into that. You know, like, it's just something that's just some... Because, I'll tell you what, hospitals are a problem.
Yep.
Public hospitals are a problem.
Yep.
For everyone.
Yep.
Not a couple of fucking boats off Perth or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
That's, like, really shouldn't be as... I don't know, it just feels like it's such a big dividing issue.
So over the top, so prevalent.
Yeah, because that's... Again, it just feels like a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
This will get people riled up.
Yeah.
Throw some race in the mix.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of facts and figures, percentages,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. That gets people the things that actually affect them every day. No one in Australia is ever in a fucking uproar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's distraction, isn't it? Smoke and mirrors.
Yes,
like, don't look at here where we're talking about infrastructure, transport, taxation.
Yeah, and we're doing all that shit,
Yeah.
and all the state governments are doing its shit, and Melbourne's too populated for its fucking roads.
Yeah.
No one's fucking marching,
No.
you know,
No.
and protesting about that. And that's your life.
Yeah.
Daily life.
Yeah.
Public schools are shit.
You'll
Your
probably
kids
never
aren't
own,
learning anything.
Yeah.
You know?
You'll probably never own a house in a major city unless you earn $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, no one's protesting about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think
And that's why I get a little bit annoyed about the issue, because I don't want to talk about it because it turns into a race thing.
Yeah.
And I hate that because it's like, you know, it's like, hang on, I'm fucking from a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I just forget that race is still a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. It's like race isn't a problem until, well, who are these people?
Yeah.
You
We've
know?
never seen these guys before. Yeah.
So,
but like you said, post 9/11, it's interesting because after that, everyone of a particular nationality or appearance was then seen to be... I don't really want to get into that because that's so heavy.
Yeah, but I get what you're getting at. And these things, people on the boats, are they... Is it from Iraq? Are they from fucking Africa? Are they
fleeing terrorism?
Fleeing terrorism? Are they like I don't really
We don't know.
You know, it's
all
all
not being
very
presented.
grey and murky when it comes to that. It's all just, I'm sure I can go find out, but it doesn't, it's not, I've never seen a news article that says, here's the whole boat people thing explained.
No, never.
You know,
never.
It's never the front page.
No.
It's always
get some
like
facts.
there was a riot in fucking detention centres.
Yeah.
You know, that's that's the only time it's going to get.
When it's a negative.
Yeah. Look what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, I'd probably do the same thing.
See,
I don't know.
There's well, you probably fucking would.
Yeah.
There's a thing at the moment where News Limited, Rupert Murdoch's company, he owns 70% of the newspapers in the country, and he's running a very hard anti-Rudd.
Well, I saw the front cover that day.
Yeah.
Finally, we can get rid of this guy. Front cover of a newspaper.
Yeah.
Finally, we can get rid of this guy.
Yeah. How is that independent?
News.
Well, some one fucker's opinion.
Yeah.
And remember, he's been in trouble in the UK for illegally phone tapping and bribing and, you know, that kind of stuff. So why is his
fucking front page? The day after they called the election day, finally we can get rid of this.
And didn't they
and it wasn't even that nice. It was like
it was finally we can kick this mob out.
Yeah, that was it.
So it's even worse because it's like implies the whole lot can go.
Yeah.
Seems a little bit racial using the word mob. That's an Indigenous Australian sort of thing.
That's the whole thing.
But the other thing they did was they put a mock-up of Labor politicians in Nazi uniforms on the front page. Did you see that?
No,
and they said, it was Hogan's Heroes. I was like, okay, well, there were Nazis in Hogan's Heroes, but Kevin Rudd's not fucking in Hogan's Heroes. You know, Anthony Albanese's not Schultz.
Yeah.
Like it was, and Craig Thompson, who got busted for this prostitution, taxpayer money thing, potentially, he hasn't been charged. He's been charged but not convicted.
Yeah.
He was Hogan. The hero of the fucking... Like, this is the media in the country, you know what I mean? It's just bizarre. Yeah. There's no repercussions. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Okay. And then the next day it's fucking something else. The next day it's something else. I don't know, man. It's really weird. It's really annoying.
We're not going to ever get to the bottom of this, to be honest. It's just fucked.
Major change needs to happen. Major change. It's we need a long-term government. I mean, a long-term party to be in.
I always feel like this country hasn't had its... I say revolution because that's too much of a thing.
But I know what you mean.
But this country hasn't had
that awakening,
that big fucking moment, where the people are on the streets going, "Fuck this." Because in European countries, it fucking happens daily.
Yeah, hot-blooded though.
Mate, they piss, if something pisses the people off,
they do something about it.
They band together. We're not going to work, and we're striking or whatever. And you're going to sort this out. You know, like it's kind of it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know, they don't trust the government in that respect. Like trust is probably the wrong word, but the governments know they have to.
If they don't deliver, then the people are going to revolt.
Because there's a history of people because you know your next door neighbour's name.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sydney's not like that.
Yeah, people will go knocking on each other's doors, going fucking come on, come with us. We're going to fucking.
Because next it could be your group. Today it's nurses or teachers or public servants, and next.
I don't know. Just you get that vibe, but even when you talk to people on the street, they're a bit more politically aware.
Yeah.
But not like just Kevin Rudd's a douchebag.
Yeah.
It's a bit more. There's more of an understanding of what something might mean.
Yeah. Well, the repercussions aren't people don't know the repercussions.
Yeah.
Very few actually know the policies and the way that it's going to be funded.
Yeah.
But the issues that arise after that, no one's talking about.
Yeah.
No one's talking about this paid parental leave thing and what's going to happen after it. No one's talking about when Labor comes back in 3 or 6 or 9 years' time, what they're going to do about the National Broadband Network.
Yeah.
Because by that point, the shit system will be so indentured.
Yeah.
That they'll have to scrap it and start again, and it's going to cost more billions of dollars.
You're right. It's all very short-term stuff. And
we need to keep in power for 3 years and then re-evaluate what we need to say to keep in for another 3.
Yeah.
Instead of actually doing things, if a government came in and did things and said, we're not spending $100 million, that's Labor's marketing budget on the election, we're not spending $100 million on telling you to vote for us.
Yeah.
We're going to use it to show you why you should vote for us. Yeah. Here's $100 million put on a second airport, like
whatever,
childcare, fucking whatever it might be. the money they cut out of university education, here's that money back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The National Broadband Network, we're not downsizing the departments because it's politically valuable to say, well, we're running it at this much, which is exactly what is going on with that mate of mine. We can keep those people working because we fucking need to get this thing up and running.
Yeah.
And if we lose, we lose. But you'll know about it quicker because you'll have fucking broadband internet.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know, it's just, it's just annoying.
It is. It's quite a thing.
But I can't move to Norway.
No, that's kind of the tragedy of it. A lot of people, like, you know, that whole, if you don't like it, move bullshit. I mean, that doesn't work. No, that's just, you know, you're upset because you care.
Yeah.
Not because you don't care.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you, but yeah, I just feel like, see, every country seems to have had its thing where they, you know,
this is bullshit.
Yeah.
We control.
And that might have been 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But they had it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't point to an event that changed Australia like that.
Oh, Eureka Stockade, mate. Isn't that the one that we learn about in school?
You know, it just... Yeah. I don't know. Like,
no, I do know.
I could be wrong. I just don't know of any...
I think it feels like it's coming, though. It feels like politically, if the coalition gets in, I honestly believe within 3 years people will chuck them out and get Labor back in. I think the things they've said will be shown to be untrue.
Yeah.
They'll be just as big a liar as everyone else has been in the last 9 years of politics, and they'll say, no, enough's enough, you guys are fucked, get out. Yeah. But it's going to take that. It's going to take that happening before people will wake up and realise. I'm not saying people should just vote for Kevin Rudd because the coalition are idiots. It's all should be looked at and reviewed and, whatever. But there's only 2 parties who are going to get the vote. It's one of the 2. The Greens aren't going to win. No. Unless 60% of people vote Green, they're not going to get in. I don't even know if they should get in.
Yeah. Well, there's another...
You know what I mean?
It's just something to do kind of thing. That you vote for Greens because you
don't like the other 2 guys. Yeah. So give us the policies. There's 2 websites that talk about policies and talk about issues of, where you sit with how everything else, what the people are talking about. And there's a fact check website where you can see what they're saying and how true it is and how false it is.
Yeah.
And there's another one that's called PolitiFacts.
Yeah.
And they're run by apparently independent departments, and they seem to be having a go at both sides quite equally, and the lesser parties as well, reasonably equally. But I don't understand. I mean, I think there's a weekly 5-minute segment on the ABC that says, Tony Abbott said this, it's 70% wrong. Kevin Rudd said this, it's 30% right, or whatever it is. But it's not a fucking nightly... No. They're chucking out all these big words, all these big numbers, and no one's actually calling them to task on it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just whoever says the right thing on the right day, you're going to vote for them, without any repercussions or understanding of,
It does just feel like a tick in a box in a ballot box. Like it doesn't...
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
I don't know if that's helped.
Probably not.
That's politics in Australia at the moment.
Yeah.
I hope it changes, but I've got a feeling when it does, it'll be a change for the negative before it's a change for the positive. Chief Wiggum, when he's in the Quickie Mart and he's got his tie stuck in the hot dog machine and it's going around, his face is getting dragged in, he goes, oh, this is going to get worse before it gets better. I kind of feel that we're Chief Wiggum at the moment.